Good morning. This is Randy. On these channels, we always talk about narcissists and predators. And if we're female, we usually focus on the male predator. I know I do. I totally do acknowledge that there are just as many female predators. It's just that my experiences with female predators are limited to the workplace and some occasional friendships, and it's not really what caused me this PTSD. So that's what I focus on. But I wanted to flip it a little bit and talk about another kind of male that is not as bad as a predator or a cluster B, but just the same also has a lot of problems, and problems that I definitely don't want to deal with. And it's often that category of men that many people call good guys, nice guys, or gentlemen. Now, when women describe a gentleman or a good guy, what they actually might be describing, and not at all times, but I can't take those phrases, those labels at face value, because some men, or a lot of men, or men period, I guess, are socialized to basically lay themselves on the line and totally forget about themselves and their own wants, needs, identity, concerns, self-care, and focus on others, give up things that they want, give up integrity toward themselves, and pretty much help everybody around them. Help women and help other weak men. Devote their lives to helping other people. Rescue people. Go around and find somebody who needs their help and provide assistance. So now I'm not talking about a man who has a family and takes care of their family, takes care of himself first, his wife, and his family until the kids get old enough to take care of themselves with that goal in mind, and provides support along the way, even to adult children. I'm not calling that person a weak rescuer. That would be part of the husband, father responsibility and role. But this quote, gentleman, good guy, nice guy, that I'm trying to describe here, that is not an ideal person the way that society may think, or confuse one another. People confuse one another about what this nice guy, gentleman means. Usually, to me, when I hear someone describe a nice guy, gentleman, it's not, if it's in just like a one-time short-term experience, like, oh, the guy is a gentleman, he opened the door for me. I mean, that doesn't take too much out of them to open a door for somebody. I open the door for people too, whether they be man or woman. That's just like a human thing. That's not a gentleman thing. Anybody of either sex opens doors for the other person. That's nothing specific to a man that I would call him necessarily a gentleman, because that's just like expected of all humans, I think. Common courtesy by a human is not considered just a gentleman. But when people describe men as gentlemen or good guys, nice guys, I usually think of a rescuer, somebody who puts himself and his own needs, isn't even aware of what they are. His whole identity is wrapped up in how much he can help other people, and then he gets that sense of feeling good about himself by helping others, and so that's all he does. But eventually, when they become resentful because they don't get anything reciprocated. They're just the ones that everyone depends on for finances, depends on for physical strength, and eventually, they're going to get burnt out, and they don't have very much self-respect if that's all they're going to do is go around looking for needy people. Another thing is if they're really bad about it, they will have a family, a wife and kids, and plenty of responsibilities, and yet they'll shirk some of their own responsibilities in their own household and within their own family to help other random people too. Friends at work, a woman on the side of the road. And it's like there's not an unlimited supply of time in a person's life where they can just help. They have to set priorities, and they do have to set boundaries. I mean, they need to focus on themselves, not be resentful, have a life of balance, and not shirk their own responsibilities. That means they're not going to be available to help every other random damsel in distress, stranger at work, fly-by-night friend, person on the side of the road, because if they do, they're going to be taking time and themselves and energy away from their real responsibilities that they've created. I don't know if people are getting my point or not, but I was actually married, my first husband, and I don't even want to talk about him too much. He's really not worth talking about. But one thing that he did do is he got self-esteem out of helping other people. But he didn't help me as his wife in the areas that I needed help in. And he didn't help his kids. He didn't work, but yet he would volunteer his time and energy and give it for free to like extended family and random friends, and fly-by-night people in order to appear, I guess, like a nice guy. And he must have been getting something out of it, but he didn't have his energies directed toward his real responsibilities. It's like, if you can spend time helping your buddy move, then I guess you could have spent time looking for a job instead. So his priorities were completely screwed up. But yet, a lot of people considered him a nice guy, helpful. And here I was his wife, and I was like, yeah, he is. He's helpful. He's helpful to all of you. And he isn't doing shit over here. I'm pulling the whole weight. I'm the breadwinner, and I'm doing all sorts of stuff. And the only thing he's doing is actually stuff that I can do and like to do myself. Like, oh, he might cook. Well, you know what? Guess what? I like to cook, and I can do that. Why don't you do some of the things that I can't do, around here? you know, he'd go and paint other people's houses and plant his grandma's flowers every spring for, you know, like weeks, while stuff at our house would totally go undone for the whole entire summer. So that's an example of like some kind of a twisted rescuer, weak man who is conditioned that his self-worth is, and he'll be called a gentleman if he's just always helping other people in this like selfless way, volunteering his time and energy. Actually, I don't really know very many guys like this, but I think that dependent women, young women who need finances, find these rescuers, and then they identify them as nice guys and gentlemen, and they put them, you know, up on a pedestal verbally to other people about how great these men are and how they're, you know, they've helped them so much. But my thing is, men weren't put on this earth to help women. That's not their sole purpose. That's not what they're here for. So if the best thing you can describe about a guy is how gentlemanly and helpful he is to women and people around him, that doesn't really impress me at all, because people have motives. They have motives for helping, and some are manipulative, like the narcissists, and others are for other secondary gains. It's for self-esteem, and we shouldn't really be getting our self-esteem, our entire self-esteem, out of helping other people, and then at the same time shirking our real responsibilities, and also not helping people that we have responsibility for, and not even helping ourselves. So there's this balance, and I'm suspicious when people say, you know, when I know people are well-meaning when they say, well, I hope you meet a nice guy or whatever. I guess I know what they mean, but like, I wouldn't want a guy that just goes around helping people, because if a guy was to voluntarily help me in all sorts of things without expecting anything in return, I would probably not respect him, number one. I'd be suspicious. And I also would worry that, you know, if I had a relationship with him, that he's not only going to just be like helping me, he's going to be helping any random person, and he's not going to understand what his priorities are, because if a guy is lending all this help and support to somebody that he's not even committed to, then he's going to keep doing that to other people that he's not committed to, and that's how he's going to spend his time, and that may be how he gets his self-esteem and self-worth. I hope I made this kind of clear. Let me know your comments. If it's not clear, maybe I'll make another video to clarify. I don't want to be misunderstood on this one, but this is ending up being a long video, so I'm going to end it here. Have a great day.